Rolling King, welcome to another episode of Bet the Bus. I am your host, Payoff Willy. This show, we gamble, we bet on college football. Stat, our 2023 record, 37-19-2. We are prosperous. Our last 7 weeks, 27-11-2. I'm with our experts in the back, JP Parlay Hovey, Jackie Slips. He brings the slips. He brings the slips. He brings the recap. Gary Midnight. He's going to put a little cash under your pillow. You make the right picks. And then you got, of course, Mitchy Billboard, the fat head. HelloFresh is probably sponsored on his forehead because this episode will be brought to us by HelloFresh. Again, this show, we pick 5 to 6 headliner games in the weekend on a Saturday afternoon, and we make money. We get the blood flowing. We get the hormones for your wife flowing. No, we're not doctors, but we understand what it takes to make everyone horny. Jack, go ahead and break us down and recap us from last week.
And if there's been one theme with Bet the Bus the last, 2 months, it's been consistency. We're consistently in the green, financially solvent, exactly what we want when we created this show. Last week, we had a very humbling 4-2, but I think this week we still have a lot more room for improvement, possibly a full sweep on the board.
We feel good.
But one quote I want us to stick by and to live through with this show is that continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. So let's continue to be great and continue to build on what we've been doing so far this year. Do you want to go ahead and start out in the first game?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Because talking about last week, the over, like we said, Alabama, LSU, we were concerned. People were like, oh, this game, it never goes over. You got to look at the data, Will. Well, we looked at the facts on the year. And the fact is the over hit with LSU and Bama. Bama is playing their asses off, by the way. Big fans of them. They're a good ball club. They're getting hot late, right when they need to. Mizzou, we called it. Georgia was on upset alert. They escaped with a 9-point win over Mizzou at Missouri. Washington beats USC, just like we called it. Penix over Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, you think he was crying over the game? No, he listened to our show and realized the game was lost before it even started. K-State, what did we say there? We get away with another W. The dark horse of 2022 goes into Texas, goes into Austin, Texas, almost gets away with the win. Yes, I was rooting for them heavy, but losing by 3, they covered. Great teams cover. K-State covered. Nebraska let us down. If you listen to Bussin With The Boys, I already got in that. Notre Dame, everybody pray for them. They suck. Dabo, no, we're not buying into your stocks. Before we get into the slate, this episode is brought to us by HelloFresh. HelloFresh, the holidays are right around the corner, and HelloFresh can help take the stress out of dinner by delivering everything you need to cook up tasty meals right to your door, saving you tons of time. This holiday season can be hectic, and that's where HelloFresh's 15-minute meals come in. These quick fixes help you get a wholesome meal on the table in less time than it takes to get delivery. Hosting this holiday season, HelloFresh Market has just what you need to please a crowd without the hassle from photo-worthy charcuterie boards, charcuterie, to mouth-watering desserts. The most wonderful time of year is also the most delicious. In case you missed it, HelloFresh is so much more than a delicious dinner. HelloFresh can help take the hassle out of every mealtime occasion with easy breakfast, quick lunches, snacks, all delivered along in your weekly box. The sleeper here that nobody is picking up on outside of convenience, delivery, straight to your door. You get to make up these dishes with your family, your friends. You get to have some camaraderie and enjoy a little bit versus a little 2-minute microwave, 3-minute microwave session. You're sharing the same heart with the people you're enjoying spending time with. Go to HelloFresh.com/busfree and use code busfree for free breakfast for life. Holy shit. Yeah, that's right. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active, and that is free for life. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/busfree with code busfree. BUSFREE. Everybody who's tuned in right now, whether you're watching, whether you're getting it on audio, make sure to subscribe. If you're watching the show and you have picks you want in, deliver those picks in the comment section. Engage with this show. The boys in the back bust their ass. JP, I know he works day and night. He's 24/7 around the clock. He puts 24 hours into this show. The production is high level. I'm doing all this stuff so you can just show and prove even more how much production you do. And when we don't hit 10,000 views, it's an L for the boys. So drive up the engagement, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your group chats, because again, 37-19-2, 27-11-2 in the last 7 weeks. And I was thinking about something. I'm hanging out with Rue. being a dad, and when you get old in life, things get taken from you. That's just life. But you only learn about life when you start losing stuff. You see, I'm not wearing the watch today because I'm thinking to myself, I'm leaning into too many material things right now. But you find out life is this game of inches. So is gambling. Because in either game, gambling or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, one wrong pick, you don't quite cash it. 1/2 second too slow, you don't quite lock the bet in. The picks we need are everywhere around us. They're in every month of the year, every weekend, every day. And on this bus, we fight for those picks. On this bus, we tear ourselves and everyone around us to pieces for that pick. We claw with our fingernails for that pick. Because when we add up all of those picks, that's gonna be the fucking difference between winning and losing.
Yeah, buddy!
Between prospering and going broke. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die for that inch. And I know if I'm gonna have any more life left to fight, I'm gonna fight and die for that pick. That's what life's about. The 6 inches in front of our face, the 6 picks that Jackie Slips is about to tee off right now.
Yes, sir. And before we do that, I'd like to leave us with one more piece of sentiment. Success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequences of consistently applying basic fundamentals. So we're going to stick to what we know, and we're going 6-0 this week. I just can feel it. The first game on the slate for us, we have a Big Ten battle, Michigan's first ranked opponent all year. It is Michigan at Penn State. The line is 4.5. Huge game for both teams. Where are you leaning?
Finally, a tough game for Michigan. We get to see, JJ, he's been playing well. But you have to look at the teams that they've been playing. Isn't it JJ McCarthy? Yeah. He's been playing well, but it's a bunch of teams, they know their signs, that it's obviously out. Connor Stallions, he's resigning. You see where there's smoke, where there's fire. If you look at the quarterback play here, I like JJ. I like, if you look at defense here, I like Michigan's over Penn State. However, again, you got to look at the watered down schedule Michigan has had. Penn State has had tackling issues. Michigan doesn't. Again, the guys that, Penn State, they've played Ohio State. They've played some tougher opponents, tougher than Michigan. So it's hard to kind of look at strength of schedule involved and everywhere else, because you don't like to root for the ones who are cheating ball right now, boys. It's just, they're a low integrity university. However, I'm going to digress. What I would like to do is I would like to activate my inner Louis Locks.
Listen, boys, stick with me for just 1 second. This is what I want to talk to you about. I know the allegations, Connor Stallions, all of that, but can we please take the men, the coaching staff out of this? And can we talk about the kids? Talk about the individuals that are stepping in between those white lines and playing the game. You've heard it from numerous coaches, as most recently as the Minnesota Gophers head coach, saying this is the best football team, not only in depth, in toughness, physicality, following the rules and using the rules to their advantage. Michigan is the best put together team in all of college football. Throw the allegations out the window. And yes, their schedule hasn't been the most tough based on wins and losses and ranked teams, not ranked teams. But let me give you a couple stats right here. And I'm going to give you a little stat real quick for Penn State. Penn State's 5-2 in their last 7 against Michigan at Penn State. And you might think, oh, that's enough for me just to bet on that right now. Hold the phone, because James Franklin might be the biggest fraud in all of college football. My man's 2-5 against top 10 teams. 2-5. Oh, 2-15 against top 10 teams. I was trying to make it better for you, Frankie, but it didn't work out that way. And he's 1-10 against top 5 teams. That's all you need to see. They lose games. They play terrible against Ohio State. And Michigan is top to bottom, a better put together team than any other team in college football. And for that reason, we are going to go Michigan -4.5 in this game. You can book it. That might as well be the lock of the week. But, Louis locks, or you guys know what I'm saying.
We're going Penn State -4.5. We're going Penn State Penn State +4.5. Michigan is favored by 4.5. We're going Penn State +4.5.
I love it. Yeah, it seems like someone's going to take a loss on this pick between you and Louis Locks. But moving on, we have from the Big Ten going to the ACC, we have Miami at Florida State. Florida State clinches this game. They're in the ACC championship. Line is 14.5. How you feeling?
This is a weird one. Miami, Florida State rivalry. You love it. I want to say Miami's 4-2 in the last 6. Florida State, they've won the last 2 in a row. Florida State, to me, is clearly the better team. I feel like Miami's just been, they're 2-3 in their last 5. And they've lost some tough ones. NC State, yeah, they're a little bit better than everybody probably anticipated, but you still drop that game. They somehow beat Clemson. Again, Dabo, we're not buying the stock in Clemson. But I feel like they've been struggling as of later on in the back half of the season. I think they're putting together a good program out there at Miami. I just don't think that they have the cats to stand up and beat Florida State because they're at Florida State. You got Jordan, the QB. He's been on, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the country. I think QB plays in their favor. I think Florida State is more battle tested. You beat LSU, you beat Clemson, you beat they've had a harder road than Miami. And again, Miami, when they are in close games and playing these teams that they should compete more with and beat based off what they did in September, they're losing those games. I like Florida State covering. It's a lot of points, -14.5. But I'm going to say, I know it's a rivalry game too, but I'm leaning with Florida State. I just think they're a much better team. They have more to play for. They win this weekend, they're placed in the ACC championship, but they're obviously playing for a playoff. They're in the top 4, top 5, doesn't matter. They'll be there in the end as long as they take care of business. I think Florida State has a lot more to play for compared to Miami. They'll probably get up just a little bit, surface level, for a rivalry game, but they're not playing for what Florida State's playing for. That's why I'm taking Florida State -14.5.
All right, moving on from the Big Ten to the ACC to the greatest division in college football, the SEC. We have Georgia at Ole Miss. The line is 10.5. Are you hotty toddy or you go dogs?
Ole Miss has the stats. When you check out what they've been doing, they're up there in offense. They score, but if you look at their last 4, the teams that they've beat, you're beating kind of the watered down part of the SEC. Yes, we've talked about the SEC comparing to the Big Ten. 3 teams in each are in the top 10, but SEC now has 5 teams in the top 15 compared to, not Michigan. Big Ten still stands at 3 teams in the top 15. So the SEC is coming, but what I'm getting at with Ole Miss and Georgia, I think Ole Miss is closer to that bottom half of the SEC compared to the top dogs. What I mean by that, yes, Georgia has allowed 20 points in their last 5 out of 6 games, but they've also scored 51, 37, 43, and 30. I think Georgia, when you look at when Ole Miss played a real SEC team in Alabama, they couldn't move the ball very well. They only put up 10 points. I think the Georgia Bulldog defense, although they've given up some points right around 20, I think they're more of an Alabama defensive style than these other defenses that they've been playing in the SEC. For those reasons and the reasons that they can score points, I'm going Georgia -10.5 against Ole Miss. I think that goes outside of what people may think. But again, I think Ole Miss is a 4 disguised as an 8 right now. I think they're a pig with lipstick. I think they get exposed a little bit more. And I think Georgia pushes to make this SEC championship against Bama a little more tasty when that time does come. So I'm going Georgia -10.5 over Ole Miss. And we also, Mitchie Billboards, he's got it in the data. He loves the over 58.5. Throw it in there. Who gives a shit? Throw it in there. Let's make money. Let's make coin. Yes. Georgia.
Who gives a shit? All right, moving on. West Coast matchup. We got USC at Oregon. Spread is 15. Is USC a fraud?
Yeah, USC is a fraud.
Thank you.
USC is a fraud. They have no defense. They're light in the trenches. I was looking up last night. I was kind of looking up their depth chart and seeing like what these guys weigh on the line of scrimmage defensively for them. It varies between 250 and 300 pounds. That 300-pound guy is their heaviest one. The others are like 250, 280. That's light in the ass compared to an Oregon D-line. All of them are 300 plus. All of their offensive line, they're big, tall, heavy. They win in the trenches. They're going to be able to run the ball. Oregon is the number one defense in the country for a reason. In their last few, I don't know the exact number, but 19 touchdowns, and they've only allowed three touchdowns.
That don't make sense.
They're known for offense, but they actually play some good defense. And they probably will play some good defense, better defense with USC, hold them off and cover -15. You look at the trenches, USC, again, too small. You also look at Oregon's defense against USC when I was talking about how they've only given up 3 touchdowns. They're a defense loaded with seniors. USC has a younger defense, so they will get better in the future. But right now, the way Oregon is, this is a very tough football team. And you have a veteran-heavy defense. So that's why they're playing well. That's why they're only giving up 3 touchdowns in the last however many games. Bo Nix, he's a stud. He operates well in that system, in that offense. I like Oregon -15 against USC. You guys mess with that? You kind of like that?
Yeah, Garrett just showed us a great stat too. USC drops out of the top 25 for the first time under Lincoln Riley. So Oregon by a million.
Disappointing. Yeah, a disappointing year for USC. Lincoln jumped ship a couple years ago from Oklahoma. Biggest headline in college football, right? Leaves Oklahoma. That's when he had both Spencer Rattler and Caleb Williams. But biggest headline in college football when he went to USC, he takes Caleb Williams with him. They got the jet, they got the high contract, they got all these things, everything that USC's bringing back for NIL with the Hollywood, the this, the that, the Snoop Dogg. No, they are frauds. Caleb Williams, who was a Heisman front runner, he's it's out there. It's out there. I'm not going to shame him too much. I mean, he's a kid. I think he's going to be a beast in the NFL. But USC has not panned out the way USC thought that they would, and they are frauds.
All right, moving on. Another SEC battle. We have Florida at LSU, line is 13.5. And this game means so much to the boys that not only is it on the slate, but we're just traveling down to LSU to witness this greatness in person. So I'd love to know what kind of colors you're going to be wearing on Saturday.
Purple and yellow.
Amen.
Purple and yellow. This is an awesome game. It's a night game. The environment's going to be insane. Death Valley. LSU has won 4 straight against Florida. Florida on the road in their last 11, 2-9. One thing to look at is the over. LSU 10-0. 10-0 with the over in their last, 8, 9, 10 games. 4-1 when they are double-digit favorites. That's from Mitchie Billboards. That's from the data that goes on in Mitch's brain. I think LSU beats their ass, man. They had a tough loss. And yeah, Daniel, he might be out. He might be out this game. But the backup quarterback, he can move the ball. He was like 17 for 30-something against Bama. But again, Bama's playing really good ball. You look at how he did, I think, in the SEC championship last year, or when this cat has started and played. He's moved the ball well. So LSU's going to move the football. I just think that they whoop Florida, man. I think the environment's going to be rocking. 6:30 night game. The lights are out. LSU -13.5. Should we smack the over?
10-0, last 10 games.
Should we smack the over, Mitch? Your job.
Smack that shit.
Hell yeah, Mitch. Hell yeah. Suck on that over. Suck on that up. Show the clip too, so people just don't think I'm just out here. Oh, you know your boy doesn't have that much of a gag reflex.
All right, moving on to the final pick and the lock of the week. Tennessee at Missouri in SEC East battle. Spread is -1. Might as well be a pick 'em. Go ahead and give them your pick. I'd love to hear it.
Lock of the week. I'm going to deliver this to you right to your door, just like HelloFresh would. The line is small. Like you just said, Slips. It's a pick 'em game. I like Tennessee. Missouri has given up 60-plus points to Tennessee in back-to-back seasons. The line opened up with Mizzou being a 1.5-point favorite. Now Tennessee is favoring. Oh, good God, I'm fucking butchering this. Tennessee is the favorite, meaning a lot of money has been placed on Tennessee. I think this will be a shootout, but where I like Tennessee a lot, they have a good run game. They're third in the nation, 227 yards per game. Tennessee 5-1 against the spread in their last 6. Mizzou is 6-1 against the spread in their last 7. Mizzou's a tough team. I like Mizzou. It will be at Mizzou. Tennessee doesn't get phased too much about being on the road outside of the Florida game. I like Tennessee, just a straight pick 'em in this. I think Mizzou's tough. I think Tennessee has shown some life because I'll be honest, I thought you guys were going to go downhill after that tough loss to Florida. But the Vols have bounced back. And then we all know it's GBO after GBR. I feel like I can be objective with Tennessee. I do like them in this game. I also like the over. Where's the over at, Mitch? 58.5. So we got 3 games where we got 3 overs this week.
Yeah. Like you said, the last 2 matchups, 2021, 2022, both over, I want to say 80 points combined. So
Healthy.
healthy. I
And
like the over a lot.
Mitch has here 5. The overs hit 5 of their last 7 matchups. Let's go the over.
I love the over.
The lock of the week, Tennessee, Mizzou. We're picking Tennessee, GBO, right after GBR. In that case, too, you want to take, I don't know what Nebraska's line is, but you definitely want to take that line this week playing against, what is it? +2.5, they're underdogs. That's a money line game. It's a money line game for Nebraska this week. But the lock of the week, Mizzou or Tennessee to cover and the over 58.5. Tennessee -1, -1.5. It's a pick 'em, doesn't matter. JP parlay. What do you have? Do you have anything cooked for us?
I always got stuff cooked, man. Sometimes it's just in the crock pot and it takes a second.
I'll say this. Your dark horse of the year, Kansas, the Jayhawks, they've been prosperous for Bet the Bus.
Let me
Not
see
a
what they
headline
got going
team, not one of those big dog teams that you're going to put in, in the description and everything else, but a team that is making you money has been Kansas, the Kansas Jayhawks.
And nobody ever wants to jump on board with me with Kansas either.
I think I would, honestly. Like
Lonely
when
at the
you told me
top,
that they-
as
when
they
you
say.
told me that they hit over the weekend, I was like kind of bummed that I was like, damn, I need you, I just need you to be vocal.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Kansas, Texas Tech. This is just the Kansas lock of the week. And it is Kansas over Texas Tech. It is 3.5 point spread.
Who's favored, Kansas?
Yep. But -176. But it's at Kansas. They're ranked number 19. I believe their starting quarterback is coming back.
They just stormed the field 2 weeks ago, which is big. That energy is going to be high.
But they stormed the field 2 weeks ago. Then usually you fall off that next game.
Yep.
They didn't fall off. They stayed up, and they will stay up versus Texas Tech.
Were they at home over the weekend?
They were away.
Yeah, so this is awesome. I think storming the field, now they come back, the students are talking, you feel the energy on the campus.
Yeah.
I like that pick. Do you like it parlayed with 1 or 2 of these picks that we've talked about on Bet the Bus?
I
By the way,
like
if you're
it.
watching right now, comment.
I like it parlayed with Oregon over USC. And I also like it parlayed with your Michigan versus Penn State pick, not Louis Locke's pick.
Penn State +4.5. Oregon to cover. I think it's -15, but Oregon to cover along with Kansas to cover against Texas Tech.
Yes.
That is your Joseph Parlay Hovey Parlay of the week. Guys, thank you for tuning in to Bet the Bus. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Big hugs, tiny kisses. Leave comments. Tell your friends. Let's spread the good news that is happening on Bet the Bus. We're prosperous. We're like 20 games up right now. Salute. Have a hell of a Saturday afternoon, boys.